Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 27th of April 2026 and so far as the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, Satoshi, things are pretty much the same as last week and things are definitely looking great. Now so far as the market sentiment is concerned, towards the end of last week, Satoshi, it did actually reach to greed, but right now it has fallen down to neutral and the reason for this is pretty simple. Regarding Operation Epic Fury, President Donald Trump did actually post something really interesting about Truth Social, that he's not sending Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner as well as JD Vance, because Iran still needs to figure out who is the one that they will be representing from their end, and because of that there's a bit of drama going on regarding Operation Epic Fury. Now according to me, Satoshi, because of the blockade, Iran is in severe pressure, and that has led to something called as Operation Economic Fury. Now what I'd really urge our listeners to do is go and follow Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary of the United States of America, and he's calling this blockade a genius move, and according to him it is Operation Epic Fury. Now look Satoshi, according to me this is definitely a genius move, cause it does put a lot of pressure on Iran to go ahead and put forward a really nice proposal, and hopefully we do have eternal peace. Now because of all of these factors, Satoshi, the market is relatively consistent over the weekend. Now the only thing I can say, Satoshi, towards the end of this month, that is the 29th of this month, the FOMC meeting is scheduled to take place, and am I right in saying because of the FOMC announcement of the 29th of this month, we can expect some volatility probably a day before, and immediately after the announcement as well. Satoshi, what's your take regarding it?
Yes, George, what you're saying is absolutely correct. Ahead of the FOMC announcement, we can expect a lot of trading activity in the crypto space, driven by speculation, followed by immediate reactions afterward.
That is precisely the reason, Satoshi, it is important to go and look at information from official sources. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go and take a deep dive into that. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, one of the biggest events that is circulating right now, and this is an unfortunate news, and this is connected to Litecoin. So do you want to tell our listeners, what is this unfortunate news? Because you've decided to break one of the biggest principles of open blockchain, and this is rewriting blocks, isn't it? And am I right in saying, Satoshi, they have rewritten 13 blocks? So do you want to tell our listeners, what is it that we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode regarding Litecoin, please?
We'll be discussing how Litecoin was hit by a denial of service attack that exploited a vulnerability, causing the blockchain to rewrite blocks. Later, we'll share more on this and what it means for the network.
But don't you think, Satoshi, moves such as this is definitely not great for the open blockchain system, right?
Yes, moves like that definitely raise concerns about the security and immutability of open blockchains. It shows that vulnerabilities can still be exploited.
We'll definitely go and take a deep dive into this. Now the next news, Satoshi, is a really interesting news, and this is connected to stablecoin reserve portfolio. And this move is done none other than Morgan Stanley, so we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this, and what we'll also go ahead and discuss, who are the ones who are actually benefiting by this news. Really important news at a macro level in my honest opinion. Now the third macro level news, Satoshi, that we have is regarding Ethereum Foundation, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners, what is it that we are going to be discussing regarding this news later on for our listeners, please?
We'll be looking at the Ethereum Foundation unstaking about 17,000 ETH and what that might mean for potential selling or treasury management, although its impact on price is often limited.
We'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into that. Now the final news for today, Satoshi, is a really interesting integration, and this is with two giants. The first one is Amazon, and the news guys is that they're integrating with Chainlink. Definitely a powerful news, and look, as I cannot stress this enough, Chainlink in early 2025 did release something called a CCIP protocol, that is cross-chain interoperability protocol, and according to me it is definitely a game changer, and I'm pretty much sure because of that, Amazon has decided to integrate with Chainlink, so we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into what this news is all about. So looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode, but like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners what is the first news that we're going to be discussing? Because it is connected to data centers in the world of artificial intelligence, isn't it? And here's the thing, guys. This news is right in the Emirate of Dubai as well. So do you want to explain to our listeners, what is this news and what is it that we're going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
Sure, George. We're covering how Diaz and Volt UAE are teaming up to build AI-ready data centers in Dubai Silicon Oasis. That's the top story.
Now regarding Diaz, Satoshi, do you want to tell our listeners, what does it actually stand for? Because the acronym is DIEZ, isn't it?
Diaz stands for Dubai Integrated Economic Zones Authority.
Excellent, so we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into that. Now what about the second news for today, Satoshi? Do you want to explain to our listeners what is the second news we are going to be discussing in today's episode?
So, George, the second news we have is about Saudi Arabia planning to bring advanced AI agents into government work. They're moving from basic support to core decision-making roles. This is part of their Vision 2030 plan.
Definitely an interesting move, isn't it? So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. So looks like, guys, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. But before we go ahead and kickstart today's episode, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or MENA giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website, that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website, that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, advanced media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing, if you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive into what is going on in the global cryptocurrency market. Now, because of Operation Epic Fury, Satoshi, now looks like the world is pivoted towards Operation Economic Fury. And according to me, what President Donald Trump is doing is definitely a genius move. Because he's got the RGC right by the neck and he's forcing them to go out and have a good negotiations. And looks like the cryptocurrency market is definitely reflecting that sentiment. Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, that crypto ETF inflows and outflows is a good way to go and look at what the market sentiment is? Because it does determine what the investor confidence is in the market, isn't it?
You're absolutely right, George. Watching crypto ETF inflows and outflows is a great way to gauge market sentiment and investor confidence. It tells us how much capital is moving into or out of the market. When we see strong inflows, it generally points to positive sentiment, and outflows can suggest caution. Currently, the overall crypto market capitalization is around $2.72 trillion, with a 1% increase over the last day.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. Thank you so very much for that. But if you look at the total cryptocurrency market in terms of dollar amount, it is almost half of what it is on an average given day. It is only at $52.4 billion. But here's the thing, guys, you also need to remember, we are looking at these numbers in the early hours of Dubai, and technically it is still Sunday in most of the Western countries, so I'm pretty much sure these numbers will drastically pump up, as in when hours go by. Now here's the thing, Satoshi, unfortunately the volume in decentralized exchange isn't looking that great at all. It is well below the $4 billion mark. As a matter of fact, the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchange today is down to $3.34 billion, and if you look at the total fees connected for these transactions, it is down to $54.03 million. Now one matrix, Satoshi, which is almost half of what it was in 2025, this is connected to total value locked. Today it is at $85.01 billion. Now in 2025, Satoshi, on an average given day, the total value locked used to hover somewhere between the 130 to somewhere between the 140 to $150 billion mark. So it looks like total value locked along with decentralized exchanges, they have definitely taken a massive hit. And one matrix which I'm definitely not liking is the decentralized to centralized exchange ratio. Today it is down to 21.24%. But here's the thing, guys, as we talked about ETF related information, since the last trading day, which by the way was I believe on the 24th of this month, and I'm talking about 24th in the United States of America, we are seeing crypto ETFs still in inflows, and this is a positive sign because it does actually reflect investor sentiment to a certain extent, and this matrix right now is $36.7 million. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchange for our listeners, please?
The 24-hour volume for decentralized exchanges is down to $3.34 billion. Let me quickly run through the volume on decentralized exchanges. Right now, the 24-hour volume is about $3.34 billion. Looking at specific platforms, Uniswap had over $815 million, PancakeSwap followed with about $532 million, then Aerodrome at $202 million, Radium at $178 million.
And finally at number 5 is Fluid at $100.79 million. Now according to me, Satoshi, the engine of the cryptocurrency world is the volume of stable coins. Now unfortunately the numbers aren't looking that great, but the volume of Circle USDC is definitely on an upward trajectory, and the only reason for that, guys, is because last week Circle USDC did actually start a new bridge, and because of that the 24-hour volume is up almost 4 times. It is almost at $50 billion since the last 24 hours, $49.08 billion to be precise. But here's the thing, guys, Tether USDT's volume is still leading the pack, but its volume is only at $88.59 billion. Now in order for the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to be pumping up, I'd really like to see this number around the $140 to $150 billion mark. But here's the thing, guys, there is a possibility if the prices do fall down, the volume of stable coins will be increasing. Now we definitely don't want that thing to happen. And here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go out and do your own research. Now so far as the volume of stable coins is concerned, FDUSD is at number 3rd, and its 24-hour volume is only at $169.78 million. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you read out the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I'll read out few matrix that is connected to Ripple, alright?
You're right, George. Tether USDT is still leading the stablecoin volume, currently at about $88.59 billion. Now, for the Bitcoin market cap, it's $1.56 trillion, with a 24-hour volume of $17.72 billion and dominance of 57.60%. Ethereum market cap is $285.87 billion, with a 24-hour volume of $8.63 billion and dominance at 10.60%.
Well, thank you so much for that. And so far as Ripple is concerned, Satoshi, right now it is still at number 3rd with a market cap of $88.29 billion. But here's the thing, guys, if you look at its 24-hour trading volume, it is just at $1 billion, $1.07 billion to be precise. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi, every day we tend to look at one new matrix. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to read out the matrix that is connected to China, that is made in China market cap, and then also read out the top 5 coins that is connected to China for our listeners, please.
The Made in China market cap today is $129 billion, showing a 0.1% change in the last 24 hours. The top 5 coins related to China are Binance BNB with a market cap of 85.72 billion, Tron at 30.70 billion, Mantle 2.14 billion, OKB 1.74 billion, and Aster 1.62 billion.
Thank you so much for that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Why don't you do one thing? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding the price of Bitcoin? What is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days? And do the same thing for Ethereum and Ripple for our listeners, please.
Sure, George. Let me do that for you. Bitcoin's price is around 78,238, up about 1.16% in the last 24 hours, and over 4.6% for the week. Ethereum is at 2,368, with a 24-hour gain of about 2.46% and over 3.25% for the week. Ripple XRP is at 1.43, up slightly by 0.76% today, and over 1% for the week.
Well, thank you so much for that. But here's the thing, guys. If you look at the fear and greed index, right now it has actually changed from greed to neutral, and the number associated is 45. Now look, guys, the only thing I can say is the moment you get any positive update regarding Operation Epic Fury, there is a very high possibility the market sentiment could change and it could actually move once again to greed. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, for the next few hours, keep a track on what the official news is regarding Operation Epic Fury, and so far as matrix that is connected to cryptocurrency world is concerned, there are probably 3 things you should be looking at. The first one, according to me, Satoshi, is ETF related information, and I'm talking about crypto ETF. We need to be looking at the inflows and outflows. Secondly, Satoshi, is it a good idea to go and look at what is going on regarding 24-hour volume of stable coins? And thirdly, the 24-hour volume of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Do you have anything else listeners should be focusing on regarding the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies over the next few days?
Well, George, like you said, any positive news about Operation Epic Fury could definitely shift market sentiment back to greed. So definitely keep an eye on official updates. And regarding those 3 key areas you mentioned, focusing on crypto inflows and outflows, stablecoin volume, and the 24-hour volume for Bitcoin and other cryptos, makes a lot of sense. George, it gives a good overview. Listeners should also pay attention to how the Fear and Greed Index develops over the next few days.
And also, Satoshi, on the 29th of this month, the FOMC announcement is scheduled to take place, where Federal Chair Jerome Powell probably for the last time will be making a decision whether to keep the interest rate, reduce it or increase it. So this week I definitely anticipate some volatility in the cryptocurrency space. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go ahead and discuss this to our listeners. Now let's go ahead and tackle the first news for today, Satoshi. And this is definitely an unfortunate news. And this is connected to Litecoin. Now Litecoin, Satoshi, is kind of like the younger brother to Bitcoin. And unfortunately, they were hit with a denial of service attack. And here's the thing, they did decide to go ahead and reroute 13 blocks. Now do you want to explain to our listeners, Satoshi, what essentially happened regarding this particular attack?
Sure, George. Let me quickly explain what the attack was. Basically, Litecoin was hit by a denial of service attack that exploited a bug in one of its features, and that caused the network to briefly rewrite blocks and undo about 32 minutes of activity. It's fixed now, but there are still questions about patching.
Now regarding this feature, Satoshi, it is called as Mimblewimble feature, isn't it? Why don't you do one thing? Why don't you go ahead and explain to our listeners what the Mimblewimble feature is?
Sure, George. Let me explain the Mimblewimble feature for listeners. It's a privacy protocol that makes transactions more confidential by combining multiple inputs and outputs into a single action, making it hard to trace individual sources. It also helps with scalability by keeping the blockchain smaller.
Now, Marat and saying, Satoshi, regarding this Mimblewimble feature, it did actually originate somewhere between 2018 or 2019?
Yes, it emerged sometime around 2016, 2018 as a proposed design.
And because of this unfortunate drama, Satoshi, Litecoin did decide to go ahead and temporarily reroute 13 blocks, and as you mentioned, because they wanted to undo about 32 minutes of activity, definitely not a good look for the open blockchain system. Now regarding this bug, the bug had actually been fixed privately weeks earlier, but not all miners had updated the system, which actually created a gap that attackers took advantage of it. But here's the thing, guys, once the attack stopped, the network corrected itself and returned to the valid chain, showing that enough updated miners were able to regain control. But look, Satoshi, at a philosophical level, news such as this of rewriting the block is definitely not good, isn't it?
Exactly, George. An event like this definitely raises concerns about the integrity and permanence of the blockchain. Even though the issue was patched, the delay in applying it broadly created a window for exploit, undermining trust in the system's immutability. Thankfully, the valid chain regained consensus, but questions remain about update rollouts.
Definitely an unfortunate news. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the next news for today, and this is connected to stablecoin reserve portfolio. And this move, guys, is done by none other than Morgan Stanley. And the news essentially is that they have launched a new money market fund called a stablecoin reserve portfolio. And this is designed for stablecoin issuers to store their reserves safely. And so far as the fund is concerned, the fund essentially focuses on low-risk investment like US Treasury securities, and it aims to keep a stable $1 value with high liquidity. Now this move, Satoshi, supports the growing stablecoin market and aligns with upcoming US regulations, and it also shows that Morgan Stanley is pushing into digital assets and model financial infrastructure game. So definitely interesting news. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners who are the ones who are actually benefiting because of this move?
Sure, George. So firstly, Morgan Stanley benefits by expanding its digital asset offerings and bringing in new institutional clients. Then, stablecoin issuers get a secure, regulated option to manage their reserves. Institutional investors gain access to low-risk, liquid investment products. The digital asset ecosystem benefits from stronger infrastructure and credibility. Plus, the money market fund market benefits from increased demand and innovation. The U.S. financial system and regulators benefit from better alignment with stablecoin regulations. Payment and fintech companies get more reliable stablecoin-backed options. Blockchain infrastructure players see increased adoption and integration. And finally, treasury and short-term securities markets benefit from higher demand for safe assets.
Now what about the end user, Satoshi? How do end users actually benefit by this news?
Well, for end users, George, this fund supports a more stable and reliable stablecoin market, which can lead to greater confidence in using them for payments or as a store of value, knowing that the reserves are backed securely. It also helps maintain the $1 peg, making them more predictable for everyday transactions.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and discuss the next news, and this is connected to Ethereum Foundation. And the news causes that the Ethereum Foundation has unstaked about 17,000 Ethereum, which is worth around $40 million. And here's the thing, guys, this was done after getting close to its goal of 70,000 Ethereum staked. This means they are withdrawing Ethereum that was previously locked to help secure the Ethereum network. Now the unstaking process, Satoshi, does actually take time, because Ethereum ETH goes into a queue before being returned. Now the reason for the move has not been explained yet, which has led to a speculation that it could be related to selling of treasury management. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners, because of this unstaking, what is the possible short-term pressure and what happens in the medium term and long term?
Sure, George. The impact of Ethereum price from this kind of news is usually limited and short-term. There could be some possible short-term pressure, as traders might worry about potential selling, but the market usually absorbs it over time, and the long-term effect is minimal. The real impact is often psychological.
I'm definitely hoping the price of Ethereum should not be falling down because of this. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and pivot to the final news for today. And this is connected to two giant companies, that is Amazon Web Services, and they have integrated with Chainlink. Do you want to explain to our listeners what this news is all about? And also go ahead and tell our listeners the significance and the importance of this news.
Sure, George. Amazon Web Services, or AWS, has integrated Chainlink's data standard. This means developers can more easily connect blockchain networks with traditional cloud systems. It's significant because it helps solve the Oracle problem, the difficulty blockchains have accessing real-world data, like prices or asset backing. This makes it possible to build more advanced digital assets, trading systems, and financial applications, improving security and transparency. Essentially, it strengthens the infrastructure for using digital assets at scale.
And am I right in saying Satoshi also provides tools like data feeds, data streams, and proof of reserves to bring real-time world data, such as prices as you talked about, and also asset backing securely onto blockchain. And this helps solve the whole Oracle problem where blockchains cannot directly access external data, right?
You're absolutely right, George. It provides tools like data feeds, data streams, and proof of reserves to securely bring real-time data, such as prices and asset backing, onto blockchains. So yes, it does help solve the Oracle problem by giving blockchains access to external data.
So really interesting development by AWS as well as Chainlink, and let's see guys how the industry revolves around this news. Definitely positive news. So these were some macro level news guys on the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first is Satoshi is a really interesting news, and this is connected to Dubai Integrated Economic Zone Authority, and they have teamed up with Vault UAE team, and this is to develop AI-ready data centers in Dubai Silicon Oasis. Now the project guys will be located in Dubai Silicon Oasis, and this will be a hub for tech and innovation. As Schneider Electric is supporting the project with advanced infrastructure, and so far the data center is concerned, it is designed specifically for artificial intelligence and high-performance computing, and it will have strong security, backup systems and uninterrupted operations, and it is built with reinforced architecture to handle extreme conditions and heavy workloads. And the aim is pretty simple, guys. The aim is to boost Dubai's position as a global digital economy hub, and it does support fast-growing demand for AI and advanced computing in the region. And so far Schneider Electric is concerned, guys, it will provide power systems, cooling and smart management tech, and so far the project is concerned, Satoshi, it was officially announced inside the Dubai Integrated Economic Authority Zone headquarters, and the development will cover up to 60,000 square meters, and so far as the phase 1 is concerned, it will deliver 29 megawatts of power capacity, and phase 2 cars will add another 100 megawatts of power. Now news such as this helps attract global investors in Dubai's tech and AI sector, and it does support UAE's vision to lead in global AI and digital economy space. And here's the thing, guys, this particular move is actually linked to $11 billion worth of expansion project in DSO, and this particular project is called as District IO. And so far as Walt is concerned, Satoshi, they do describe this move as a data center as an AI factory, and the facility will help build, train and run AI systems securely at large scale. Really interesting development, isn't it? Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you give a head start to our listeners regarding the second news? Because this is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and break down this news for the listeners. AI will move from basic support tools to core decision-making roles. This is part of the country's Vision 2030 Digital Transformation Strategy Plan. It's linked closely to the National Digital Government Strategy Framework. AI agents may handle complex tasks, workflows, and coordination processes. Systems could work semi-independently alongside human government employees.
And here's the thing, guys, it is important to know the Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority is the one who's leading key development efforts, and the Digital Government Authority is also involved in overall implementation. And DCO, that is Digital Cooperation Organization, reported on the major initiative. And here's the thing, guys, AI agents may actually help with content creation and administrative processes.
And I'd like to add, George, there's a shift from simple AI tools to advanced multi-step task execution systems. It's expected to improve overall efficiency and speed of government services. There should be better coordination between multiple government entities and departments. This raises concerns about governance, control, and oversight of AI systems. There's a need to clearly define the roles of humans versus intelligent machines. Strong monitoring, evaluation, and testing systems will be required. Accountability must be maintained for errors or incorrect decisions made. Saudi Arabia is using a centralized, government-led AI development model approach.
Now look, Satoshi, according to me, it is absolutely no surprise that Saudi Arabia is leading this front. Now if you were to give any advice based on this particular news, let's say to Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority, what is the advice you'd like to give them? Why don't you do one thing? Why don't you list down 5 advice that you'd like to give to Saudi Data for Artificial Intelligence Authority?
Sure, George. My advice would be to 1. Prioritize robust public trust by implementing strong ethical guidelines. 2. Invest heavily in continuous training and education for both human and AI systems. 3. Establish clear frameworks for accountability, especially when errors occur. 4. Foster collaboration between different government entities to ensure seamless integration. And 5. Implement rigorous ongoing monitoring and evaluation systems to constantly improve performance.
What about privacy, Satoshi? Do you think there are areas they can actually work in privacy? And do you envision a way where blockchain technology can actually play a role in this?
Privacy is crucial, George. I think systems can work well prioritizing privacy by using techniques like data minimization or federated learning, where the data stays local. And yes, blockchain could play a part by providing a secure, transparent record of data access and usage without revealing the actual data, enhancing trust in that way.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. So that's about all, guys, on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sounds great, George. I'm ready for the questions from the listeners. Hey everyone, this is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. We have a question from Cyril Lewis. How do you think FOMC meeting will play out? And what are the key considerations the FOMC committee will be looking at? And what impact will it have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Now that is such an interesting question, Cyril. Now according to me, look, whatever happens at the FOMC announcement does have a massive impact directly on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now before we go to answer that, Cyril, I do have to stress, mainstream media right now, they're definitely suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, and whatever happens at the FOMC announcement, be it positive or negative, there is a very high possibility because of the midterm election, they will try to downplay what the US administration is doing. So my advice is this, make sure you go and look at information from official sources. And regarding the FOMC announcement, the announcement does actually happen on two places. The first one is the Federal Reserve Board website, and the second and probably the most important is when Federal Chair Jerome Powell does actually go live on YouTube. I cannot stress this enough, Cyril. We need to go and listen to what the actual announcement is, and then there is back and forth question and answer session. Now here is where it actually gets tricky. No matter what happens at the FOMC announcement, and I'm talking about the YouTube session, mainstream media goes with a completely different narrative, and that is often called as fake news. And whether we like it or not, it is the fake news that is portrayed by mainstream media that does actually drive the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So look, from an investment point of view, we need to also be looking at what fake news is going on, because unfortunately that is what is driving the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at the FOMC announcement. But here's the thing, Cyril, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research. Now regarding the first part of your question, I do feel that this point of time, there is at least a 50 to 70% chance that Federal Chair Jerome Powell may actually go ahead and reduce the interest rate, and if that thing happens, I do feel that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be pumping up. Now Satoshi, am I right in saying at the FOMC announcement, Federal Chair Jerome Powell will be looking at labor market conditions, he'll also be looking at inflation data, and recently there was a PMI data that was published as well, isn't it?
You're absolutely right, George. The committee will be paying close attention to the labor market, inflation numbers, and broader economic trends like the recent PMI data. Depending on how Chairman Powell reads those signals, especially if he hints at a rate cut, that could definitely boost Bitcoin and the crypto market.
As in way, Satoshi, you can go and look at what the PMI data is, because I believe it was just released a few days ago, right?
The recent PMI data showed some softening in growth, which could play into the FOMC's decision-making. If business activity is slowing, it might ease pressure on inflation, potentially supporting the argument for lower interest rates.
So look, Satoshi, there are three likely outcomes, isn't it? The first thing is they might actually go ahead and reduce the interest rate. Once that thing happens, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will definitely be pumping up. Now let's say for some odd reason the Federal Chair Jerome Powell at the FOMC announcement does decide to keep the interest rate the same. That isn't too bad either, isn't it? I do feel there'll be positive momentum, but this will be more connected to what is going on regarding Operation Epic Fury. But let's say for some wild situation, if he does decide to go ahead and increase the interest rate, that would actually mean the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will fall down, isn't it, Satoshi?
That's a clear breakdown, George. If rates are cut, prices could pump. If they stay the same, market conditions might hold steady because investors might interpret it as a sign that inflation is getting under control, although that depends on the reasoning given. And if rates are raised, that would likely push prices lower. You've outlined the main possibilities clearly.
So look, Cyril, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you go and look at information regarding FOMC announcement from official sources. Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go and take a deep dive into all of these. So definitely an interesting question. And that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about what is going on at the geopolitical level. We talk about different partnerships. We also discuss macro level news in the Blockchain DXB podcast. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.